The Automatica 2022 Robotics Expo was held in the US, and here you could see what the world will be like in 2050. Food processing robots, basketball robots, robots in warehouses and cafes. The DLR Institute of Robotics and Mechatronics brought its humanoid robot Justin and Sarah robotic arm on a mobile platform to the show. But it was the new anthropomorphic robot David, which is expected to approach human capabilities in dynamics, dexterity, and endurance that attracted the most attention. The robot's about the height of an average adult, weighing only 26 kilograms and has 41 degrees of freedom and variable stiffness in all joints. It's driven by 76 brushless DC motors and has 165 position sensors. DLR's latest interesting development is a robotic chair for people with severe movement impairments, in which a robotic arm is integrated. It uses muscle signals to read from the surface of the skin and control the robotic limb, which is supposed to give its owners sufficient freedom and independence together with the chair. The robot is also endowed with its own knowledge of the world in order to anticipate human desires. And of course, the robot arm is completely safe for the owner and can manipulate all the same objects as the human hand. Also on display was the Garmy robot, designed as an assistant to the elderly. The robot should help in everyday life, for example with household chores. The robot will also come in handy for rehabilitation exercises and remote communication with doctors. The developers plan to equip Garmy with measuring devices such as ECG and ultrasound. Combined with the use of IoT sensors, the doctor has access to information through the robot that can help him act quickly in emergencies. Stoger Automation showcased its Spats robot at the show, which has several screwing and gripping tools built in. It's a complete assembly solution, even for miniature items such as collector car models. Also on display was a robotic inspection of an electric BMW i4. The Doosan cobots played drums, poured drinks, and even made hot noodles and immediately poured them into portions. And of course, there was also a robot cafe, this time presented by KUKA and its light and sensitive arms LBR IIWA. The team of ExoIQ brought to the exhibition a new exoskeleton, the S700, in which you can see the desired power or just turn it off when you don't need it. And all this at the touch of a button without having to remove the design. The young German company Neurorobotics showed its various applications of its cognitive robots. The company itself develops manipulators and creates software for them with elements of artificial intelligence. Touchless safe human detection technology and built-in sensors allow the bots to see, hear, understand, and even, as the developers say, sense humans and even think for themselves. Cobots can work in warehouses or auto repair shops, but the company sees them primarily as a versatile home helper. The robots can move even the smallest and most fragile objects. Keenon Robotics brought its service robots to the exhibition. The company's more than 30,000 robots are already working in more than 600 cities around the world, but are just about to conquer Europe. Equipped with a fully autonomous positioning and navigation system, as well as highly sensitive sensoring and obstacle avoidance technology, Keenon robots adapt to a variety of challenges in real-world scenarios. The robots are designed for restaurants and hotels. The bots know how to ride elevators and can deliver anything directly to your room at any time of day or night. Also on display were countless industrial robots that seem to have learned how to do just about anything. Find and manipulate objects of any weight or shape, perform all manufacturing tasks, work in medical labs, or just about anywhere. I like to think that in this high-tech future, there's still going to be a place for real humans. In other news, the European Space Agency has unveiled its four-wheeled, two-armed Interact ESA robot. The bot is part of a group of robots for a lunar mission, and it's modified specifically to work on the steep slopes of a volcano. The robot will need to interface with another planetary vehicle, a drone, and a fixed landing module that will provide the robots with Wi-Fi and power for autonomous work. The animal robot finally got its robotic arm and learned how to use it to turn wheels, pull a lever, push doors, pull a rope, and lift loads, as well as performing various other tasks. The robot moves by remote control, but once it reaches its destination, it performs the task entirely autonomously. The perception is made with the help of Vicon's motion capture system and the robot's joint state readings. Toyohashi University of Technology introduced gossip robots that can communicate with each other about current events and the weather in a way that humans can listen to in the background. Added emotions, exclamations, and interjections will help keep attention, so congratulations to the robotic grannies at the driveway. Would you like one of these in your home? Let us know down below. Engineers at Northwestern University in the United States have unveiled robots for jointly manipulating heavy objects with humans. The 3 bots are omnidirectional carts with delta manipulators mounted on them. What makes the invention special is that the robots provide safety for humans and loads, as well as highly accurate control of the end effector force, regardless of the potentially inaccurate movements of the mobile base. The bottom line is you can easily carry, flip, and compose heavy objects with each other completely safely and without the need for physical effort. The WVU Interactive Robotics Lab showed how a swarm of loopy robots with 1 degree of freedom achieves a given shape from an arbitrary starting position. The trick is that each robot makes its own local decision about where to move based on interactions with the 2 neighbors. NASA and Redwire have revealed the capabilities of the partnership OSAM-2 small space probe, which will service, manufacture, and assemble spacecraft directly in low Earth orbit. For starters, the refrigerator-sized robot will have to build, assemble, and deploy a solar array, part of whose structure it will print itself on with a 3D printer. OSAM-2 is not expected to be launched until 2024 at the earliest. MIT engineers have figured out how to keep track of their miniature robots and teach them how to communicate with each other without weighing them down with additional sensors. To do this, they made the robots glow like fireflies. The half-gram drones were given a top layer of electroluminescent particles that emit light of a certain color under the influence of an electric field. Now, it's possible to track their movement through an ordinary smartphone camera. The surprising discovery was made by scientists who examined the data collection by NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft, which took soil samples from the asteroid Bennu in October 2020. It turns out that if the craft hadn't fired its engines as soon as it grabbed the rocks and dust from the asteroid's surface, it would have just plunged into it. It turns out that the particles that make up Bennu's surface are so loose and so loosely bound together that if a person stepped on Bennu, he would feel something like diving into a pool of plastic balls that are so popular in today's playgrounds. Watch how deftly the fully autonomous robotic package system handles Peppa Pig. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any